Happy 2021, y'all. Happy 2021. Super Mike. What's up? If you made it, to 2021, thank the Supreme Being. Thank the Creator and thank the sacred science that you respect. 2020 should have given you and given us clarity of sight. You see, sometimes, we think we're in a spot that we're not. That's deep. Sometimes we think we're in a spot that we're not. But when you get that clarity of thought, it's a little bit more, it's sobering. That's what the word I'm looking for is called, sobering. This is when you realize where you stand. You thought you was friends, but then you realize, based upon action, what it really is about. Remember when Joe Biden told everybody, he said that Joe Biden was like, this country is doomed. This man said, this country is doomed. Let's listen to this real quick. I just want everybody to sober up. We're going to do a little bit of 2020 review, and we're going to get up out of here. What's up, everybody? Like and share the little vibe, say what's up, chime in.
But my overarching objective, if we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. This country is doomed. This country is doomed. This country is doomed. It is doomed not just because of African Americans,
but thanks.
Because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white. European.
Hear that?
Hear me?
Hear me? You hear him?
Hear me?
Listen up good. You can't hear.
White European.
See, that's why it's doomed.
You guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics.
Oh, really?
Who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Okay.
In terms of raw numbers. Arching objective.
Let's listen to that again.
We cannot make significant progress on racial equity. This country is doomed. This country is doomed. This country is doomed. This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because.
So listen to that. The man said the country is doomed. Oh, it's not doomed just because of y'all. I mean, and for people who think I'm reading too much into that, you got to realize that communication is not about what the actual definitions of the words that you say mean, but it's about that between the lines communication. This man said the country is doomed, not just, so you included, not just because of African Americans. Really? Thanks. So this means, like, I guess in his mind, he's doing you a favor because he's not going to put all the blame on you. It's not just because of African Americans, but it's because we're going to be minority white European. Oh, really? So the country is doomed because the humans called white European are going to be minority now. And what's a minority? A minority is a loser, as Dr. Claude Anderson taught us. In a democratic society where majority rules, majority vote wins, the minority, if they continue to call you a minority and you accept their parameters of what a minority is, you are a loser. And this man said, and it's going to be more white Hispanics. Remember, on the census, white Hispanic, right? Who make up more of a population than y'all do, meaning they're going to start winning and y'all going to start losing. Yeah. So that's 2020. If you still can't see that, then you're still back in the old trying to save the fall of America. You know, the country, the man just told you that the country is doomed. And this is the man that you elected to president, right? He told you the country is doomed. So what should your response be? So what is he trying to get out of for himself and his family? Because he's an old man. He's trying to leave his children something. He's trying to leave his legacy something, right? But he's in that conversation, he's talking to Black people. What should you be leaving your legacy? What should you be leaving to your people? So, you know, back in 2020, it actually came in with a bang. Actually, and it left out with a bang because we had an explosion down there in Nashville. But it came in with an explosion from Kobe Bryant's helicopter, right? So 2020 came in real hard. Kobe Bryant lost his life. Lots of other people lost their life. And as we remember, the that produced a big uproar with Gayle King and Oprah Winfrey, who have been two folks that uh, the folks that like to deceive populations use. So they use people like that. And this is called the mammy archetype. It's called the mammy archetype, meaning this is a character that comes out of slave times and is that old woman that the woman that seeks to clean up or make it easier to accept being a slave, a servitude slave who defends that all behaviors from the white supremacist who's stealing your labor. You got to realize that we're, as black people, our labor has been stolen. It's been stolen. And as we grow up, as we starting to open our eyes and see how much we've been stolen from, it's got to come in waves, and it kind of ease its way in, because we've been damaged so much. If it was to be put up on us all at one time, if all that information was to be put on us, we couldn't handle it. We would have too much of a responsibility because it's so much work. Some people know, but some people, it's just too much for them to understand right now. They would break down and give up. You got routine comments and statements from people. This brother, this guy got a post talking about, does it make sense for blacks to ask for reparations from a system that is for white supremacy? The man says, does it make sense for blacks to ask for reparations from a system that's for white supremacy? And of course it makes sense. Why does it make sense? Because you can't if you For example, here it is. Actually, you know what? We'll do it this way. Let me get this right. Let me get it right. Hold on a second. Here it is. There it is. If you don't act, if you don't demand what's owed to you, once you realize something has been stolen from you, if you don't demand your stolen material back, then you're still asleep. Now, just because you may not have the power to take that material by force, what you can do is you can let that person know that you know you've been stolen from. And you can give them the chance to do the right thing. And then during that period of time, you are developing yourself. You're trying to get yourself to where you could take it. And that's why you demand. And so that's a motivation for you to develop yourself. And that's one of the reasons why you demand. And then also reason why you never know. They may give it to you once they see you building up. So, you know, we have to just demand what's right for us. We continue to grow up, and each year it brings us more and more clarity. So, you know, also during that time, we realized that, you know, actually around March, you had COVID come out. And with COVID, we realized that, you know, it was, and when COVID came out, let's see here, we realized that it had actually been out several years. You know, COVID had actually several months prior to that. And, you know, they just made a big deal of COVID in March, and they started trying to lock down the economy, you know, close down businesses, which made no sense at that time. And so that's what they did. That's what they did. So, you know, now, and then they started telling you each and every person that died, and, you know, this person died from COVID, that person died from it. You know, that's what we had going on during that time. You had Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, more police murders. But the thing is, the people push back, and because of the policies, people start taking to the street, and they realize that we can get policy changes from being in the street and not just elections. So that's another 2020 to me is a victory of clarity, because you can't do the right thing unless you understand what the right thing is. And so I think that's part of that's important. It's important that we had those hard times that we can kind of get ourselves in order and everything, because if you don't have that, you're not going to have the history to point to for your children to say, you know, this is the reason why we do it this way or do it that way. You have to make those mistakes, and they have to be big mistakes, and document them. And that's just what it has to be. So that's kind of where we at in that situation. I want to go into, you know, teaching us about, I went and got into the Bitcoin a little bit more, which did pretty good. As the economy falls, it seems like Bitcoin goes up. Bought land. I just bought some land in Georgia and start developing on that. We, you know, pushed ourselves to get into business more. So we're going to get these certs. These are the things that we got to do. Now, as America falls, as the system falls, and the system is a result of what we think, you see, because it worked for so long. But when it's almost like a fruit, it's expiring, it's not working anymore. And you're in that period of confusion, of darkness. And so that's where we're at now. So this thing is falling down, and we're just trying to figure this out. And it's almost like the dawn of a new day. And just like in the Quran, it says, you know, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the Dawn from the evil of that which he has created and from the evil of intense darkness when it comes, and from the evil of those who cast evil suggestions and firm resolutions, and from the evil of the envier when he envies. You know, there's a lot of darkness, and darkness is symbolic to ignorance. If you don't know what's going on. And that's where we've been, is our people. We've been real ignorant, and we do ignorant things and ignorant behaviors. And so that's kind of where we've been. I want to go into this here. Now with the coronavirus thing, you know, of course there's an actual disease, right? Of course there's a disease. And it's not the same as the flu, because if it was, then the physicians would treat it, and the treatments for it that they use for the flu would work. But it's not. Those treatments don't work on this. So it tells you that this is a different thing, you see. But, you know, obviously a lot of medical professionals have made progress in learning how to understand it, and they're doing pretty much better, okay, with patients and dealing with them in the hospitals, right? But that doesn't pull back from these people. They want to still lock everything down, lock everybody out, destroy businesses. You got people depending on stimulus checks. You got food lines that's stretching for miles, food lines. And the only reason why that could be is because people, you know, for years and decades, we've been depending on grocery stores instead of farms. You know, the average American person has been out of the farming loop. You know, to me, farms, that's definitely a job for the younger people and the families, certain families that want to get into that industry. But that was turned over to immigrants, right? And so people have gotten off of the land. So there's a disconnect from the land and the food. And the people who, you see, it's kind of funny. And see, this is the reason why America is falling, is because as the Black people stand up, as other groups stand up, they're trying to make, you know, Black people have been the base of this country, the footstool, right? And you can't be a footstool unless you are completely ignorant. You have to be made ignorant. And if you are not ignorant, then, you know, you're not going to want to be a footstool. And let me play, I mean, it just shows you. Like, for example, here, let me do this here. Yeah. You know, our people have been made a footstool, and, you know, we've been dehumanized every single generation. And let's see.
All Coons look alike to me, sung by Arthur Collins, with his banjo accompaniment by Mr. Bess Hill Osmond, Edison Record.
Now, this is an old song that
Talk about a coon that has trouble.
Coons.
I think I have enough of my own. It's all about the Lucy Katie's trouble, and she has caused my heart to mourn. There's another coon about us on Virginia. His fatty is the leader of the day. And now my honey gal is trying to quit me. If she's gone and drove the coon away, she's no excuse to turn me loose. I feel abused, and I'm all confused. Lord, 'cause he's what it is in his way with. Oh, Coons looking like me. I've got another boy, you see, and he's just as good to me. Hey, you nigga, and a tragedy. He spends his money free. I know we can't agree, so I'd like to know how poor Coons look like me.
Yeah, so basically that's just basically a play on the coon. And Coons and Shines, these are the type of characters that we were made a part of. We were just turned into just idiots for generations. We got all these mass issues, mass dysfunctions over a period of hundreds of years. And you think that's just going to go away? It's going to take generations of work to clean that kind of stuff up out of our heads. And so then we get traitorous behaviors, because we don't want to do the work because we're lazy. We don't want to do the work. We don't want to do the work of cleaning up ourselves. And so we want to identify. It's almost like a currency. If you can identify with a whole nother group that you don't see as so dysfunctional, then you can escape your fate as a Black person. And that's where you get the coon from, because that's why, the earlier meaning of that word, they're telling you that you're trying to beg to get something. You're trying to steal. You're looking like a bandit, a coon, And so let's look at this here. I want to show something. Now we got this DC mayor. I want to say this too. But the coronavirus, it's been used to justify all kind of agendas. We got the Amero, which is the financial currency that they've been trying to get past the North American hemisphere. You got the vaccination, the pharmacies, the pharmaceutical industries. They need to sell their product. So they would love to be able to force their products on children and on adults. And so they want to use the law to force everyone, just like insurance. You have to have insurance if you're going to drive. And so the vaccines, they want to be able to force their products on your school and your children, and the children can't make consent. So DC Mayor Mariam Bowser, this woman says she wants to, she leads the city of 670,000 people in the nation capitals, but her most demanding constituent greets her before she returns home. The mayor adopted a 1-year-old Miranda Elizabeth in 2018. Now she's a bubbly, bright-eyed, and busy toddler. And so this is crazy. So they're going to try to use this baby to show that this woman feel like she's a real mother. The point is, this woman wants to force a vaccine on children as 11-year-old, and they don't even have to tell their parents. So they could have got a vaccine and they could get sick. Vaccines do hurt people. So let's look at this here.
What does it mean to be Carrington proud? It means we've been preparing students.
Hold on. Let's get this crap.
A story you'll see only on WUSA 9 tonight. Mayor Muriel Bowser leads a city of more than 670,000 people, but her most demanding constituent greets her before she leaves for work and when she returns home. The mayor adopted Miranda Elizabeth in 2018. She is a bubbly, bright-eyed, and busy 1-year-old. I met the mayor a couple of weeks ago to talk about life with the first daughter and what she wants every parent to do before the start of school this year.
Does that feel good?
Miranda's just been a remarkable blessing to me, to my entire family, how my parents, she lights up their world, and really everybody that she encounters.
Miranda was the city's best kept secret until the mayor shared her news with me last spring. She was ready to fulfill her lifelong dream of becoming a mother.
I didn't really know how people would respond, but it was as if they were waiting for the first baby to come. And she doesn't disappoint.
Has Miranda helped you to be a better mayor?
Everybody says so, so I have to go with that. She certainly gives me a perspective that's different than the one that I had. The big fights, I have them, but I leave them and I come home and the next day I fight them again.
You might be surprised to learn that some of her toughest power struggles surround what to do with her strong-willed toddler.
How are we going to go out and do things? And what do you put in that bag? And what happens when you start fussing?
Easy. Stop running. You thought running a city was hard. You had no idea that
Keeping up with her, yes. She just got her gates. I just put the gates up in my house.
A few weeks ago, Miranda slowed down enough to get her updated vaccinations, including that all-important MMR for measles. It's taken on increased importance with the resurgence of the once dormant disease. As someone with a stake in the health and care of an entire city, the mayor hopes parents will do their part to keep all families safe.
The world is small now, Leslie. People travel all around. And if you are exposed just for minutes, airborne exposure to measles for an unvaccinated person can be very harmful and even deadly.
So
measles aren't killing people.
Are launching a summer campaign telling parents, don't wait, vaccinate to raise awareness. Recent data reviewed by the DC Department of Health shows the highest number of children who are not immunized live in wards 4, 5, 7, and 8. And DC, by comparison, ranks last in the region and among the lowest in the nation for kindergarten vaccinations.
But the message is not to wait, because what we know is many families will have the best intentions, but life happens.
This is not a scientist.
Before you know it, it's time to go back to school. Miranda, yikes! You just gave me a heart attack. You just gave me a heart attack. You almost rolled down the hill.
The goal for this year is to have every child have the same fighting chance to have a healthy start, just like Miranda, and on day one.
It's a very big deal. Having your child in the seat at school on day number one can get your child on the right path for a successful year.
And Mayor Bowser is encouraging every parent to step.
All right, so I want to show something here because, see, the thing is, here, this mayor is not married. This mayor she hasn't had any kids of her own. You know, she's making decisions for entire city of children. And this woman she's not she hasn't had a child of her own. She couldn't keep up a marriage, you know. And DC, the residents, I guess they keeping up with this. Washington DC Council approves allowing children as young as 11 to be vaccinated without parents' knowledge. This woman is insane. The council is insane. But they get money from those pharmaceutical companies. In a blatant threat to parents' rights, the Washington, D.C. City Council is in the process of passing a new law that would allow children as young as 11 to obtain vaccinations without their parents' knowledge. I would move out of that city. I would take my children out. The intent of the law, the intent doesn't matter if you injure children. Okay, so we have a thing, it's called vaccine injury. That's a real thing. You know, this is a real thing. Vaccine injury is not fake. Vaccine injury is not fake news. Vaccine injury payouts. The National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. It's a program for vaccine injured people. Since 1988, the vaccine court has awarded compensation to more than 6,000 people. Dang, totally more than $4 billion. So they say more than 6,000 people. It can be any number. But the thing is more than $4 billion to 6,000 people. Okay. And the $3.9 million vaccine injury trust fund. Just imagine your child got a vaccine from this fool and they got injured. But if you trust that fool to lead you, then that's what you get, right? That's what's up. So anyway, I don't want to keep it up too long. Everybody, Happy New Year, Happy 2021. Let's just try to work on making it happen. Let's try to work on making this thing happen, and just living your life, the best life, and, you know, be good to your parents. Think about your family, you know, try to make up with your family. Don't keep fights. Try to do work with your family. Try to create businesses with your family and your friends that you can depend on, and roll through the hardships. It's difficult. Get through it. Figure it out. You know, don't overstress yourself out, but do it. Get it done. Figure it out. If it fails the first time, find another way. Let's figure how this thing can get done. We're going to have to work with each other and work on businesses with each other, because we're not going to be able to depend on the old stuff that we've been depending on, because this country is falling. You know, there's darkness, and the way it falls is not just in one fell swoop like that. It falls in degrees. You know, you might lose your job. You may, all kind of stuff. You know, there may be a government shutdown and 800 people lose, 1,000 people, you lose the job at the same time. You know, the fall and rise of nations, that's normal. That happens, and especially in white supremacist situation. And right now we're in the decline of this nation. So you just have to prepare so that, you know, you and your family can move on beyond it, and that be pretty much it. So, y'all, just that's all I wanted to kind of put out there for y'all, and that's it. Peace.